Welcome to POE-TRY. This is David Leo Sirois, and I'm enjoying the company of some of my friends here, poets from around the globe that I get to know from Spoken World Online and other amazing Zoom open mics. The whole world can come together. I started writing poetry when I was 10, and I was introduced to Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven, and Annabel Lee, and it blew my mind, and I fell in love with poetry. And my teacher would assign us to, write a poem about this postcard or what have you, and I would write 8 poems. So I got really excited about it. I never stopped. All right, so I'm going to start with a poem called "The Body of Light." Dearest, I'll seek the secret to liberation as soon as this bed lets go of me. In a dream, I waited in line for communion at Christmas time. When I reached the beaming priest, he held no white wafer, and he never said the body of Christ. Instead, he gestured broadly around us and firmly, warmly whispered, "The body of light. This is the body of light." The longest journey begins at the base of the spine and ends at the crown of the head, seventh heaven, God intoxication. Our words lose their bodies in this ocean of breath. Sun and moon share one soul between them, and you and I are cut from the same cloth. The coffee you often let sit in your cup, which you probably left for the angels, I privately pour into my form to mesh with your silky spirit. Dear one, you alone know I am hungry for nothingness. How my inner voice chants, let go of everything, let go of everything. Heavy worries, work, mask. He sent me a twilight reminder, writing, let go everything. I love how you left out the of. Let go everything. Nothing holds us at all. Neither breath, nor false concepts, nor webs of eloquent words. All right. Well, I am going to read a poem in French. I may flub up, as they say in English, but I translated it. Thank you, Eddie, for your bravo. I translated it into English after I wrote it in French. So anyway, it's called "Les règles du rêve," rules of the dream. I'll read it in English first so that French is easier. I don't even have it right now. Okay, I'll just read it in French and then loosely translate it. Voilà un jeu sérieux. L'esprit est en feu avec sa vue aveugle, sa friction de frottement contre les surfaces du monde. Le vent indivisible ne dit rien que je comprends. Où deux routes divergent, prenez la troisième route, la passage à l'intérieur. J'emporte partout les souvenirs bleus de mes absents. L'écho de leurs mots toujours chauds, ces voix muettes. Ce que la bougie a dit ce soir ne doit pas être répété. Dieu, tout le monde veut vous voir. Ils disent, montre-moi le vent. Désir de l'impossible pendant qu'il nage dans l'océan de notre vibration. Valérie a dit, le vent se lève, il faut tenter de vivre. Je veux voler vers mon bout. La force des gravités aggrave mon confort sur la planète. La force des gravités est connue d'être plus lourde pour La force de gravité est connue d'être plus lourde que tout. De la terre à ciel, il faut suivre les règles du rêve. Rules of the dream. Here is a serious game. The mind is on fire with blind sight. Its friction of rubbing against the surfaces of the world. The indivisible wind says nothing that I understand. Where two roads diverge, take the third road, the passage to the interior, passage within. I carry everywhere the blue souvenirs of my absent friends. The echo of their words still warm those muted voices. What the candle said tonight cannot be repeated. God, all the world wants to see you. They say, show me the wind. Desire for the impossible. And meanwhile, they swim in the ocean of your vibration. Paul Valéry said, the wind is rising. We must strive to live. I wish to fly toward my goal, but the force of gravity is known to be heavier than everything. From the earth to the sky, we must follow the rules of the dream. I amuse myself. All right. So next poem is called Eclipsed. It was in the Bastille magazine, and it was in the Scars Publications magazine, Down in the Dirt, and then very fortunately in an anthology that the editor, Janet, put together. So, Eclipsed. I want to want one senseless thing. So soak my eyes in turpentine. Fill these pores with paraffin. Numb my tongue. Negate all scent and turn my ears into backward clocks. Still, our moon can shed its skin, swim in the blood of its own undoing, and make this night parasite that feeds on street shadows, tired eyelids, and constellations of bedside lamps. Not addicted to being noticed, the moon is gone. Then it unwraps the dustless surface of its glass, wanting nothing but to want the light that eclipsed its antique mask. I'm going to read a poem from my book, Humble Doves, Poems to Pigeons and Plants, which my cat, Butter, is sitting on at the moment. Butter is the co-host of Spoken World Online, my Tuesday open mic, the Zoom continuation of Spoken World Paris. Thanks, Butter, for handing it over. All right, this is again from Humble Doves. It's available on Amazon. The Secret Pigeon's Ball. Of all the unbidden pigeons in this half-hidden park, Dave's fave is different. She refuses to wear their scarf of blue and green tradition. She models the color coffee ice cream, free to be alone and unbothered, croon in jazz tones of cool. Does she know she's odd, all dressed up for some private event, a secret pigeon's ball, where several colors of feeling mingle and merge into brown? Play-Doh in my 8-year-old hands when I nabbed the new year in my mind, tall gold neon 1979 sign, and got into Time's toy train to race faster, ever faster, into Paris proper, where, in an overlooked park, a smart, illiterate pigeon, quite quiet, unaware of my stare, washes her long wing feathers in a fountain of sunshine. The essence of fashion is feeling good looking. Oh, my word. I'm going to get serious for a minute. So, this poem is called Impromptu Constellations. It's one of my philosophical love poems, as I call them, from a book called Blue Lotus Moments. I'm trying to get published. And this poem just came out in an anthology by Sweetie Cat Press, the ones that put out, who's who of emerging writers and all these great anthologies. So it's an anthology called Around the World, Landscapes and Cityscapes. So it's, poems of place. So this came out like yesterday or something with the anthology. Impromptu Constellations. Oh, and my spiritual name is in the second line, Madhava, which means the sweet one. Beloved bleu, seeker, mirror, sister, river, Madhava here, your open secret admirer, fellow monk-like lover of all, your humbled student and sometimes teacher, your waking and dreaming dance partner, across the St. John River, wordless Wallasto, which sketches an imagined border between Canada and the States with her fresh, ancient ink. She carries a light green iron crown, cross-hatched beams and weathered sky, bridge that bonds both sides of one persistent river. She is a young deity, content to wear her cracked ice coat, dressed in late December black and white, as if the tallest birch on earth laid its whole length down. These twin towns are practical dreamers, as you are, solitude's daughter. Your wise, wide, mystic twilight eyes witness what unfolds in the circle of now, where all clocks lost their hands. In this world of surfaces, I am your worker bee, and you are queen at Cafe Lotus Bleu, hive of like-minded seekers, the warm heart of Edmundston, New Brunswick, Canada. We gather inside your large heartedness that keeps its beat on the pulse of life. Here, characters lean on, learn from, and teach each other, evolve constantly as conversations revolve over global cups full of coffee and tea arranged in impromptu constellations all around your enlivened cafe. As my other father forever says, this world is nothing but a school of love. Cher bleu, this dusky afternoon unfolds fresh linen snowfall. All three cafe doors locked. We are two sleepy bees, closed in this lotus to share one honeyed solitude. Your coffee-stained tan canvas shoes rip the ground without ground addiction. It feeds us the false belief I am real because I have to be here and work. We both embrace the inner work, shoveling out the muck, as Yeats wrote, to create space inside us for sunrise, taste delicious bliss as we learn the language of silence and the art of patient kindness. Inside this theater set, kaleidoscopic electric cafe, we improvise our lines marked by messages from God's house, which I half jokingly call the home office. We accelerate one another's path. Within the grip of our ribs, thoughtful snowfall of letters and numbers, powerful characters that populate the stage of creative minds. We write our own play from inside its lines. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. First truth in Buddha's Dhammapada, field of sacred duty. Outdoors, a routine parade of shadows floats past to a soundtrack of Eric Satie's Trois Gymnopédies, the piece you broadcast in your cafe the day I first sat with you, a bilingual interview. Its slow, sad, solo piano notes cast a contemplative dance ambiance. Earlier, I heard you nearby remind someone, everyone, in 100 years, none of us will be here. We wash our hologram hands side by side at end of day, die into the ink of dust, and switch off the lobby lights, the stage set anew for tomorrow's show. After hours in the cafe you call your front shop, a frame to hold us as we paint our inner evolution. With a single flourish of your fingers, you quietly unveil our powerful snowstorm dream. What is this world? It's just powder. All right. And in keeping with the serious tone of voice, sometimes my poetry is from serious Sirois. Sometimes it's ridiculous on purpose. This is called Gift of the Ghost. Dear David, I am the unknown soul you simply call the ghost, who makes your mouth move, who marionettes your limbs, who holds vigil at the threshold of speech, at the tip of silence's tongue. I paint paper with indigo ink and wish to share blessings of an eloquence you cannot attain alone. I have returned to you from Rue de Boulanger and Apollinaire's customary paths along Pont Mirabeau, where I so often haunted you, grasped at the nape of your neck, almost halting your steps home as you nourished your notepad with each phrase I fed you. You allow me to cover your shoulders again like a long and weighty woolen overcoat, prickle your skin with sparks of spirit electricity. Paul Valéry, one of your guides, said he'd rather write a bad poem while conscious than a great poem in a trance. You welcome the chance to let your lips move of their own volition and take the other stance. Stand with both feet firmly planted on the light. Keep going, river forward with full faith in the great power, puppeteer of all people, plants, animals, waters, and every last lost poet who wishes to write no longer, but instead read words inscribed on the heart of God, rather than trade shady coin of the spoken world. Flow with the ghost who draws your mind to its essence. Allow your mind to sense its own luminescence. Lit arrow shot from the still space between your brow. Water roiled no longer. Your muddy thoughts have settled at the bottom of life's conscious lake. Align your will with divine direction. Let these phrases pour over the vacant, patient page, strong waterfall of script that ignores where lines stand on ruled sheets and takes shape over the entire silent paper path of language that searches for light. The last blackbird's outburst on a twilight branch. Blaze the trail of equipoise and enter the heart of divine splendor. Let countless sour apples fall from your branches and ferment on the soil. Let the wind gesture prayers in the leaves of your leaves. Sorry. I kind of broke the mood there. Okay. Let the wind gesture prayers in the letters of your leaves, dotted with drizzle. God is the seeker inside you. The rest is written on my hand, but only the ghost can understand. All righty then. Well, I'm going to read a children's poem I wrote, and then go back to serious Sirois. All right, this is called Wonderful, Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, one firefly alive and alight among the leaves of this giant Canadian maple, queen of the backyard, festooned with national flags of fall, the customary costume of Canadian nature's customs officer, looking after the border river, making Canada great again and again, each fresh, festive, wonderful, weatherful day. Wow, how happy be this tree, so blessed it can bless all the cool fall breezes and all who pass outside my bedroom wall, which is all window, the state of liberty. Maybe it's not a children's poem after all. Got a political edge, right? All right, so just a couple of more. This one's called Nectar is the Best Medicine. Dearest ghost, whose name I've never known, tell me what you must teach at this time. And David, the world leans its loud mind against our windows, puts us in a trance of trepidation, a palpable presence in our heads, fed on statistics of illness and images of violent unrest. Sword we wield against ourselves, threaten our weakest moments with the wound of uselessness and cowardice as we exile our own power because we don't know we have any. We are not the slain victims of the nightly news report, catalog of atrocities that keep us gripped by beds where we don't want to wake up yet, threatened by the thought of what the day ahead harbors, duties done with distaste, and frightening surprises that might hide in blind spots. What are you afraid of, David? You meet that question with mute musings. The deepest answer is nothing. Thread the eye of your heart's needle with a string of continuous awareness and stitch a richer fabric of reality in what you now wear as worldly work uniform, customary costume. We are all cut from the same cloth. Bring your attention to the baseline of your humanness, skin, bone, and blood, heart that still beats its bass drum, mind that makes you see what you believe, soul steeped in light that turns the universe. Underneath the showy poet costume of the character you play on the stage of the spoken world, jacket, top hat, and twilight dress shirt unbuttoned down to your heart. Far behind your indigo eyes shines fluid, formless consciousness. 7 billion minds of people planted on this planet, but only one awareness. Blank canvas we all carry. Behind its pale presence and the driftwood of history in our heads, plus the endless train of anxious anticipations. Pause, turn within, and taste the fresh nectar of God's intoxicating, hypnotic silence. All right, just a little more. I'm going to share my screen and go to some poems I read this morning at an interview I had in India. Oh, John has to let me share the screen. I mean, wait just a second, John. If you want to make me the host for a minute, then you can do that. All right. Let me know. Let me try again. Ah, merci, mon ami. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Here we go to Word. In the beginning was. And, oh, bio and poems for Gobinda. You make the screen turn sideways. It's kind of like a little electronic adventure here. Oh, baby. I always hit the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. All right, past my bio, all the way down, Dave. Okay, so I'm gonna read, continuing on the spoken world theme. This is a poem called Stage of the Spoken World, as you can see. This is the year of the key. This is the year of the coin. This is the year of the word and the digits of the code. This year is the new alone. I take a walk in twilight quiet, Paul Valerie's sapphire habit to break from day's webs of words. At times I flow with time or stride forward while my mind stares behind. Memory wears a necklace of knives, each one meant for a wound of mine. But the persistence of time perpetually frees me from history and moves me into mystery. Valerie's question echoes. Will you sing when you're reduced to vapor? Chanterez-vous quand serez vaporeuse? I want to chant at all the changes of our day, dawn, noon, dusk. Midnight walks toward me. She never changes pace, the sorrows of my changing face. Who called to me from all myths of earth, echo of my first song of mirth? Why pick up the rusted chain again of my time-worn story? Drag it across this doorstep my shadow stains. Keep the vigil of open vision, circle of spacious time, timeless space. Outdoors, dusk has turned to dark, its tendency toward a round trip. The best way to end my nightmares is to face them. The play I appear in forever starts over, refrain of ocean waves, sunlight sculpts with fire. The now is forever a newborn I've never before seen. I touch it with tender uncertainty. Bless this welcome presence. Time is the pulse of consciousness. Now, onto the stage of the spoken world, I can only sing on this side of the curtain. And I'm going to end with a poem. This was just published in Indian periodical in Bengali and in English.
David, you must share again now because it didn't go after we switched back and forth. You must share again.
Okay, great. Share and share alike.
Okay, you're up.
Go Europe. Illusion is the hardest thing. I see and hear Avenue de Versailles release its voice from words that long had held it down, aimless flurries of passers-by. Sunset stretches overhead and builds a city of stone on green that seems to fill the absent sky with fiery lights in brilliant grids. We swim in rhythm with the sea of breath, these breezes whose chord progression never resolves. Time's fingers grip a spinning globe and draw the soul slowly over magnetic meridians at dusk, strum the world's imaginary strings. Within, we chant a hidden word in meditation, often heard. The river rolls backward in my eyes, mirrored spheres, flows over inner rocks, and returns a wounded arrow. Our sharp half moon has split the dusk and cut the cords to cold denial of beauty's paint on canvas minds. Twilight's windows begin to speak in sapphire song, and one long sigh. Seagulls wheel over long waters, crying out their timeless tale. Midway in the journey of our life, we found the ocean lost to us. We burned for a bond with water and wandered with every feather to seek and find. Below Pont Mirabeau's faint green rails, in cobalt light, white birds unwind. They work to learn letters and words from overvalued thoughts we guard. With unspoken sparks, we make our world. A troubled singer begs the mirror to glitter in falling shards, just to break the hardest layer. My other mother murmurs, Maya is the hardest thing. Please push the mirror and discover It's a window to within. At the deep heart's core, leave your door wide open. Let kind fire spread. And we're back. Well, that was a blast. Thanks for everything, folks. Thanks for listening. Uh, it'll be great if you gave a coffee on the coffee fund. I can send the link on our Spoken Worlds page. And what an amazing time reading for such a absorptive and attentive, kind audience. Very nice to be held in those hands and that kind of attention. So thank you kindly. Have a great evening or morning or afternoon.
David, before we go, would you put the coffee link in the chat, please?
Yes, I shall. Okay. One moment. You can stop the recording if you want, but I'll put it right there. See. Oh. And thank you. Thanks for asking, John. Okay, and share. Copy. Copied the thing. Thanks, Rorschach, for letting me know that high noon on Halloween is a thing. I love it. All right. Here's the coffee link. It's right there. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Easter Bunny. You can stop the recording. John, I'm going to take a look at the chat for a second. Thank you kindly for listening. And John, yes, you can absolutely, totally read a couple poems. Let me just.
Okay, if Edward wants to hang around, because I don't believe that David's heard this. These are 3 Halloween poems that I'd written
No,
for a
great.
chapbook last year. Nightmare. I got into bed very tired and my mind ready for a deep sleep. Soon I was in the midst of a bizarre world of sickness, poverty, and sadness. Widespread death, fighting in the streets, total misery in the land. Then I finished reviewing the day and exhausted, drifted off to sleep. And then I had one.
Woo, that was wonderful.
Mighty fine.
Bellissimo.
Fantastic.
Practical. Guys, love listening to you with your beautiful, wonderful works. Oh my God. It's just, you know, we're just, it was just spellboundly potastic.
Thank you. Yeah, John's going to read a little more.
Ekphrastic. Do you think the Headless Horseman or Stephen King is as scary as it gets? You must be kidding. Have you ever looked at Hieronymus Bosch's 15th century oil Fall of the Damned into Hell? That is terrifying. A black darkness with nude bodies hurtling down an abyss while demons torture them. Why is this worse than modern horror stories? Because people then believed this would be your fate. If you masturbated, didn't go to church, committed blasphemy, disobeyed clergy or kings, were homosexual, or whatever else you were told, that would send you down into the eternal flames. That's really scary. And one last, and then I'll let you get away, unless everyone wants to read something quickly. A Halloween party. One year I was asked for a Halloween party by a woman with whom I just begun to work with. At 9:30 at night, I showed up the dress I was given, masked as a Lone Ranger with a bottle of Dewar's Black Label as a gift. The woman answered the door, dressed as Cleopatra, and relieved me of the bottle and told me to enjoy the night. I moved through a crowd and found a seat on a couch next to a woman with long hair and a black gown. Looking around, everyone seemed to be having a good time, talking, smoking, and drinking, but the few dancing. Suddenly, a woman in a chair across from me opened her vest, revealing her breasts, and two men knelt in front of her and began to suck them. Before I could show consternation at such a public display, the woman next to me leaned over and to graze my neck with her teeth and said, "Yes, you'll do." She dropped to my calf and was biting through my jeans as she reached to open my belt. Before I lost total control, I said, "Wait a minute, is this the Hargraves house?" The woman sat up quickly and said, "No, they live next door, house on the right." I got up quickly, thanked her, and got out the door, fixing my clothes as I went. When I got into the right party, my hostess recognized me and said, "I thought you weren't coming. It's so late." I explained that I was at the house next door and had left my bottle of scotch gift there. Those guests had probably finished it. She told me not to worry about it and said, "Those people are weird. I think that woman thinks she's a vampire." I replied, "She may be right." Thank you for putting up with the ad. Edward, do you have anything that you'd like to share before I kill it?
Yeah, or Rorschach too.
No, Rorschach thought it was all over until he left. He thanked you, though. Okay, I will stop recording, David. I will get the recording to you. And
A few lines from.
okay,
Hello again, everyone. David Leo Sirois here, and I'm going to share a few lines from my dreams. Literally, I dreamt these lines. I kept a notebook by my bed, and my inner higher power said some interesting lines. Let's see. Here's word, and down here, the very bottom. These are just a few of the 33-page book of lines from dreams. The book's called Words Heard or Seen in Dreams, and I'm already well into a second volume. So first couple were when I was 6 years old. These were in the Bombay Review. Your life is just one dream I am having. I have dreamt many lives for you. You have to give up one of your senses. Which one do you choose to lose? Love is Atman. Of course, that's the Supreme Self. Everything is energy, and you are everything. He threw a window at the sun. Come to poetry, come to me. Go to music, go to me. When all the inner obstacles fall away, you naturally enjoy the highest state. I would pick up two things off this desk: eternity and your present time with her. There is a way out of this dream, and for you, it is through love. Just be aware she's everywhere. It is the third road we must take in the end, the path within. How many stories are hidden at the bottom of every pocket on this street? Careful, everything here's on a timer.
that's good. That's great.
How do you wish to wear the work you bear? May wisdom walk at your side and speak for you when you stray. Turn the key of pure awareness in a keyhole the size of your own body. How far did you want to open the door? Have a lot of ghosts in store. You enjoy the constant memory of. See what you can do silent. Thanks, everybody. And Eddie, you had something, right? I hope you're back.
No, he hasn't arrived back yet, David. I
Okay.
just